The role of the inferior function. In Jungian psychology, the inferior function plays a crucial yet often misunderstood role in the psyche. To enable the dominant function to operate freely, the psyche tends to repress the inferior function, isolating it from the main processes. This repression is not complete, however, and the inferior function still operates in a limited and partially unconscious capacity. Because the inferior function is inherently linked to the dominant will attempt to take over the role of the inferior function. For example, if an individual has thinking as their dominant function and feeling as their inferior function, their psyche will try to attribute value, role of the feeling function based on logical criteria established by their thinking function. This means they might determine emotional significance based on what is true, valid, or logical, rather than emotional or ethical considerations. This substitution creates a dynamic where the psyche's efforts to fulfill the inferior function's role are determined by the perspective of the dominant function. The more the inferior function is repressed, the more the psyche unconsciously strives to compensate for its lack of conscious presence. This leads to the psyche using all available resources and processes to fulfill the role of the inferior function. As a result, the inferior function can exert a powerful influence over the individual's unconscious mind, effectively becoming an unconscious dominant. This dynamic creates a complex interplay where the more the inferior function is pushed into the unconscious, the more it drives behavior and perception from beneath the surface, influencing decisions and emotional responses in ways that the individual may not fully understand or control. When intuition is dominant, the individual often establishes what is real by perceiving possibilities, leading to a disconnect from concrete reality. This results in a form of blindness to what is immediately in front of them, as they treat potential outcomes and future scenarios as if they were present realities. This can cause them to overlook or undervalue sensory details or practical considerations. For instance, they might plan extensively for future possibilities without adequately addressing current tangible needs, thereby creating an imbalance in their perception and interaction with the world. A sensation-dominant individual with intuition as the inferior function experiences a different type of perceptual imbalance. They focus intensely on concrete, immediate reality, often at the expense of recognizing potential possibilities. This form of blindness to the abstract or future-oriented potential leads them to establish what is possible solely based on their current sensory perceptions. They might dismiss or undervalue long-term planning or innovative ideas because they are rooted in the here and now, thus potentially missing out on future opportunities and innovative solutions. This creates a tendency to overlook abstract connections and future possibilities. A thinking dominant individual with feeling as their inferior function faces a unique challenge. They determine what value something/someone has and emotional significance based on criteria of verifiability, truth, or logical validity. This approach can result in an underappreciation of personal and emotional nuances as they prioritize objective analysis and logical consistency over subjective experience and emotional depth. This can make their interactions seem cold or detached, as they struggle to recognize or appropriately value feelings and emotional expressions, which can be crucial in personal relationships and social contexts. A feeling-dominant individual with thinking as their inferior function approaches truth and validity through a filter of emotional significance and personal values. This means they assess what is true based on how much it resonates emotionally or aligns with their values, rather than through objective analysis or logical validation. This can lead to a subjective interpretation of reality, where the importance of facts and logical consistency may be overshadowed by emotional relevance and value judgments. Such individuals may struggle to separate their feelings from their understanding of truth, potentially leading to biased perspectives and decision making.